watching Stateline Slam Plus across all WIFR streaming channels.
Welcome into Stateline Slam. I'm Anthony Ferretti.
I'm Shrikar Gendron.
Well, heading into tonight, Guilford, Hano, and Auburn's boys teams could all win the Nick 10 title, but Hano trails Auburn and Guilford by one win heading into tonight, making Friday night's game between the Knights and the Indians, Shrikar, a pretty crucial one.
Definitely, and I think this is a game that we've been talking about for a while with the Nick 10 and the implications that it could have. Let's see if Auburn can get it done here, because this is going to be a statement moment for them if they can do so.
Yeah, two of the top three teams in the conference. Auburn beat Hano earlier in the year on the road. Knights also celebrating their seniors here pregame. It is 8-6 Knights, 3:15 left in the first. They're going to find Myquan Marshall. Look at that, leaping up, gets the reverse lay in to go. Now the final seconds of the quarter. We got a tie, or it's 13-12 Auburn. Wyatt Henson keeps the ball, drains it at the buzzer. Hano up 15-13 after one. We are now tied at 25. Final seconds of the first half. Amir Danforth held scoreless for the first two quarters until he drains the near half quarter at the buzzer. Knights up 28-25 at the half. Hano down, but they would cut into the deficit. They're going to find Demaria Briggs working one-on-one. Keeps it with them. Count the basket and the foul. 31-27 Auburn early in the third. Then they're going to work it around and find Caden Doji. That bank shot there, giving Auburn its largest lead of the game at 12. Knights would protect the castle on senior night with a 61-51 win. And now we go over to Belvedere as the 20-win Guilford G-Vikes taking on the Belvedere Bucks on senior night. Now 6 minutes left. Vikings up 5-2. Isaiah Martin tying the game at 5 with a 3-point shot. Vikings, though, would take the lead. Cooper Posey going to move it around, get to Keeson Taylor working one-on-one. That one just rolls in. Now we go to the second quarter. Belvedere up 16-14. Vikings, though, would start strong. They're going to be passing the ball around, finding Posey for the three to retake the lead. Bucks, though, would have a chance, like the Empire in Star Wars, to strike back. Let's take a look. They're going to find a little sneaky play here to Demetrius Taborn. Little Euro step, count the basket, and the foul. The game would be tied at 23 apiece, and Guilford wins a close one here, 50-45.
Let's go to some NUIC action between Lena Winslow and Orangeville. First off, the ball is poked away from Orangeville by Merrick Mann, and he's going to take it straight to the cup for the easy two. Now, Lena Winslow establishing the paint presence and physicality early on. That's Miles Mann this time with the bucket. 12-5, Lena Winslow on top. But here come the Broncos. Johan Ayala hits the three from the wing, and you'd think that gives the offense a spark. And how about another one off the outlet? A corner three on the way, and it's nailed. But Lena Winslow is on top of every mistake Orangeville makes, and that would be the difference in this one. The pass is stolen here by Kane Albright, and he's going to get the free layup. Easy points and an easy win for the Lena Winslow Panthers, rolling in this one 65-35. Not too much trouble there. But in our next game between Dakota and Pecatonica, for a Dakota team that hasn't lost in conference play, could Pecatonica knock them off? We'll go to the fourth quarter to find out, as the three there from Dalen Long is good. Trickles in. Dakota keeping its foot on the gas, up 47-37 with 5 minutes to go in the game. But Zion Brima shimmying his way inside, finishing with the contact and one. He's 6'6" and uses all of it on every possession. Kaysen Meyer with the floater right there. But Zion Brima running point, crashing inside, and he slams it down. That is why you tune into Stateline Slam, folks, for dunks like that. A ferocious one from Zion Brima, but it's not going to be enough. Dakota ends up handling business in this one, despite that late effort from Pecatonica. 58-47, your final.
And you were at those couple NUIC games. What were your impressions of that? Really cool. We finally got a slam on Stateline Slam.
I think this was a cool moment for me, because this is the first one that I ever got to record and do as part of the show. So this was incredible. And also, I think the atmosphere from Dakota and Pecatonica, that was an incredible atmosphere from both sides. And especially impressive from Dakota being the visiting team. You could argue they had more fans in attendance than Pecatonica. So you definitely heard them loud and clear. The student section was rocking. Everything was on point. Definitely an atmosphere that felt like it was in the postseason.
Yeah, the NUIC conference, doesn't matter what sport it is, basketball or football, volleyball, the fans do show out, and that just shows you, too, just how important and how much these teams mean to the community, especially like Dakota's.
And that's also why you could see a lot of success with Dakota, because they can always ride the advantage that they get from their fans, from the support from the community. So overall, it's an impressive team and backed up by impressive support as well. I can't wait to see what Dakota does in the future.
And then a big game in the Nick 10 with Auburn and Hananiga. Guilford and Hano, they had the same record, and then Guilford and Auburn, Hano was just a win behind them. So there was a chance they could win the conference if they won out. This was a big game. Now Auburn, just a big atmosphere for them on senior night, but I should say credit to Hananiga, because Amir Danforth averages almost 21 points a game. Tonight they held him to just 7.
And as much as we can credit Hananiga for that, we can also credit Auburn, because despite not having your star player go off for his average, and in fact far below it, having his worst output of the season, if I'm correct.
Yes.
To have all that and then still come out with a pretty solid win in terms of the score, I think it speaks a lot to how good this Auburn team is. This is definitely one to watch. It's especially atop the Nick 10, which is a tough conference in itself. I think this team is really impressive.
Yeah, and they are disciplined too. Even though Amir wasn't scoring, he just wasn't phased by it. He was still a leader on the team, controlling the offense. Coach Ott was like, "Hey, Amir, try and run this." He's like, "Yeah, run this play whenever you want. Do this ball side, whether it's zone or man." So he really took charge of it and was a big part of it. And then that 3 before halftime, my goodness.
Well, I was just about to say, maybe it's not about what's shown in the box score, but the moments you have during the game. What swings the momentum during a game? It's not what you're going to see on a stat sheet. It's literally what happens on the court.
Yes.
And you could see from that shot, Amir Danforth hitting that, it lit the crowd up on fire as you're going, into the next frame. But also what that does for a team to go in with that kind of momentum. Again, if Amir Danforth is not lighting up the score sheet, he's at least going to be making big plays for his team. We saw it there.
And like a bunch of the players they were honoring here on senior night, some of them are going to play college basketball, and Amir, he's going to be going to North Dakota State. So going to be balling it up in the Summit League there, and hopefully a bright future for him.
100%. And it does seem like he has a bright future because he has the skill set. He clearly does. He's a threat anywhere on the court. He can shoot, he can drive, he can attack the rim relentlessly, push a pace on you, and that's all you can ask for from a player who's going to North Dakota State where, as you mentioned, he could tear it up.
And we were going to take a break. We had all those boys games, but after the break, we're going to take a look at the girls basketball brackets because the postseason starts tomorrow, so we'll have that after the break. Welcome back in here to Stateline Slam. A lot of boys games that we had in that first block, but it's hard to believe postseason for girls is going to start tomorrow, and we got a flurry of sectionals to go through for them.
Yeah, we'll head right into the brackets, but I think it's a very interesting slate. We'll obviously look at the Eastland sectional. Warren and Stockton going at it, followed by Orangeville and Durand between 5 and 11. 7-10 matchup, Orion versus Forreston, and the 5-11 matchup, Fulton and Milledgeville. So Pecatonica, Dakota, Eastland, and Wethersfield are all getting that bye, which is going to be very important.
Yeah, Dakota, they had a big win last night on Senior Night, and then Pecatonica as well. They just snuck out one against Orangeville. Pecatonica, the defending state champs, but as their coach was saying, Coach Rosensteel, it's like, hey, we're not talking about that anymore. It's a new year, new team.
100%. As we move on, we see Allwood and Stark County right there, Bureau Valley and Morrison, the 4v13, Polo and Galvin, the 6-12, 7-10. This will be an interesting one. Pearl City versus Lena Winslow. I think that's going to be a very interesting game. And then Galena versus West Carroll as well.
Yeah, this is in the Eastland sectional for 1A, but that should be a really interesting one. Little NUIC matchup. I mean, especially when you can play a conference rival in the postseason, that just means more.
We'll go to the 1A Indian Creek sectional. 8-9 matchup, Earlville versus Henry Sanuchwine, Serena and Newark, Alden and Hebron versus Hiawatha, and South Beloit versus Christian Life. Aurora Christian, Indian Creek, Yorkville Christian, and Midland all getting the byes with Midland locking up that 1 seed.
And we got South Beloit and Christian Life there as the local teams. Now we go to the bottom half of the bracket here. North Boone, the other local team in here, they're going to be taking on Wheaton Academy, and then if they can win that one, they are going to take on the top seed in that bottom half in Johnsburg.
Moving right along to 2A Johnsburg sectional. We got the 7-10 matchup, Richmond Burton versus Elgin. But a lot of this bracket is pretty much set in stone. As you can see, not as many byes this time around. Marengo and Genoa Kingston going at it. FW Parker versus St. Edward. Ida Crown versus Chicago Academy. And the 1 seed Crane Medical Prep.
So yeah, those ones right there, Crane Medical Prep, those are all regional semifinals. And then the ones that you're seeing first on that left side, for everyone watching at home, those are the regional quarterfinals, which are starting tomorrow. Now we're the Johnsburg one. We're going still in 2A. I guess we're staying in 2A. We got Rockford Christian, the top seed there. What a dominant season they have had for the Lady Royal Lions. I know one of our alums and our digital producer here, Jason Brabus, happy about that one.
Yeah, I can see him. He's smiling. He's smiling as we continue on. Marion, Yorkville, Amboy, and let's go to the 2A Mendota sectional. Erie versus Hall in the 8-9 matchup. 1 seed, Riverdale. No, not the TV show, but the high school.
Yep.
At 4, Mercer County. 5, Sherrard. 2, Winnebago. 7, Sandwich. 3, Stillman Valley. And the 5 seed, Oregon.
Stillman Valley, Oregon, that should be an interesting one. Another BNC battle there. Now going into the bottom half of that bracket, top-seeded Byron. They have been hungry to get back to the state finals. The group of seniors, they were freshmen the last time this team made it to the state finals. They lost to Mater Day into the championship, so it'd be a pretty storybook ending if they were to make it back. They've been dominant all season, and we'll see if they can stay that way.
Byron right at the top where they usually are. Crystal Lake and Harvard in the Crystal Lake Central Sectional 3A. Obviously, Crystal Lake is the 1 seed. The 4 seed, Woodstock North. Sycamore as the 4 seed going up against Freeport. I know that's going to be an interesting matchup as well.
Yeah, with Freeport, they are without one of their key players, Peyton London, who was out with an ACL injury, but they have still been performing well and just really testing the depth and the experience that they have. So should be a good game against Sycamore.
East and Belvedere going at it in the 8-9 matchup. Dixon gets the 1 seed. Geneva at the 5, Boylan at the 2, and the 6 seed Belvedere North. All interesting.
Then, yeah, Dixon on top. Yeah, a lot of local representation here. Boylan's had a great season. Dixon, obviously, as well. One of those teams atop the BNC, just neck and neck with Byron.
Moving right along, 4A Guilford Sectional. Libertyville versus Zion Benton. What else we got on here? Guilford and Harlem, I think, is going to be the most interesting matchup on here for both of us. But looking at it here, 3 versus 5. That's the one to look out for.
Yeah, another Nick 10 matchup for the boys here. Guilford could be interesting to see how far they can get, especially if they can stay healthy. But, I mean, as we saw tonight, just a dominant team.
And moving right along, the 1 seed, Hononegah. Hampshire at the 4, Auburn versus Carmel. And then you got Waukegan versus Warren. Jefferson versus Dundee Crown as well. 4A Guilford Sectional looking really, really, really interesting.
Yeah, this almost hits home a little bit, this Guilford Sectional, because a little bit of the northern suburbs, kind of my neck of the woods where I'm originally from, so I'm familiar seeing some of those schools. But, yeah, Hononegah with top of the Nick 10 should see where they're at.
And moving right along to the Bartlett sectional, Willowbrook versus Proviso West in the 15-18 matchup. Lake Park getting the 2 seed. West Chicago versus, St. Charles East versus West Chicago. Batavia versus DeKalb. Anthony, what do you think?
Yeah, DeKalb, the only local team here that's 6 against 11 seed. Feel like it's almost like March Madness revealing the bracket here. I think that'll do it. Yeah, that's the last one. But yeah, I mean, everyone says it, right? You got like the preseason, the regular season, and the postseason. That is a season in itself. Records are going to be 0. Who's going to be able to make it the farthest?
It's a clean slate from here on out. Everyone's 0-0. I think it's an exciting time. The postseason has a different air about it for a reason. And here it's because this is where the best players are going to prove it. The best teams are going to prove it. We're going to see who's really cut from a different cloth now.
Yeah, we got a lot of, as we mentioned, a lot of strong girls basketball teams who could make it to the state final, but only time will tell. We'll have to see what happens in these brackets. It'll always be interesting to see how dominant they are, if they can pull an upset or even something unique happening.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a fun time. A lot of weird stuff has happened.
Yes.
We've always seen crazier things happen.
Yes.
As soon as we think we see the craziest thing, maybe tomorrow we'll follow it up with an insane encore performance that outdoes what we already saw, you know? So I think it's going to be a really exciting postseason. We're both very excited. And I think it's going to be exciting all around.
Yeah, I think that'll just about do it here for Stateline Slam Plus. I'm Anthony Ferretti.
I'm Shrikar Gendern.
Have a good night.